Noise department.
I show up to this party with all these college kids, and they're drinking Natty Ice, like shotgunning and just trying to get obliterated. And I'm like, this tastes terrible. And I just sat in the corner and watched them grow up on each other, drinking, 4% malt liquor, and then I'm sitting just judging.
This is Thirst Trap, a beverage industry podcast. And I'm your host, Tracy Bradley. Today, our guest is Mike Gaddy. He works for
The Gambrinus Company.
And tell us about that, Mike.
I work for a company that owns two little breweries, one based out of Texas called Shiner.
Just a little brewery.
Little brewery. It's been around for 113 something years now. As well as another actually kind of little brewery, but growing out of Berkeley, California, called Trumer Pils.
Two of my favorites.
Mine as well.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, it's easy when you sell what you love.
Mike was kind enough today to bring frosted Trumer Pils glassware and has poured us some ice cold Trumer Pils in there. So cheers. I love a breakfast beer.
Right?
It's still breakfast, right?
Yeah. It's pre-breakfast for me.
Okay.
The life of a beer salesperson.
And so how long have you been with this company, Mike?
So going on 5 years now. Through the COVID pandemic, and the beer world was a very tough one, as you know all too well.
Yes.
A lot of changes happened, but company stuck with us. I had a lot of crazy, bizarre health issues that year, actually myself, not really related to COVID, but they stuck with me and stayed true and very, very supportive, and happy to be on the other side of all that now.
I'm very happy that you're on the other side of that now. I mean, you and I have been friends for a very long time.
We have, yeah. Used to go toe to toe, but in the best way possible. I learned a lot of selling, kind of techniques and etiquette. I think etiquette's the best way to put it from you, watching you.
You did?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
How you engaged and how you were respectful with customers and stuff. And I like to think I already had a little of that in me, but it was great to go work alongside you, even though we were selling opposite products.
And then you were working for Mother Earth, and you came under the Johnson Brothers umbrella.
I did. I got to launch that brand more or less here in Nevada, and obviously, as you know, it's kind of a little bit of a monster now, which is fun, and had some good times working with you there.
Yeah,
on the same team for a little while.
Yeah, we were on the same. We started against each other, but still friends, because when you're in the sales industry, you always try to stay friendly with the competition. Because you never know. And plus, I'm just a nice person anyway.
Very hard not to like.
Oh, that was fun. I was so happy when you came over to Johnson Brothers, and, we were on premise. Off premise didn't know you the way that I did. Yeah, it
was nice to have somebody there that I was familiar with, because, again, I didn't really know anyone there other than you. So it was a little daunting walking into to a whole, new team. But I appreciate your help there.
Of course. So, is there anything that's coming up that's new and exciting?
No, that's never the answer that we want to hear. But I've again going into the end of the year. Budgets are tight. Doing a few less activations. My main focus is gearing up for next year to kind of start the year running. To put it mildly, we've got a lot of exciting things on deck. I just booked a beer dinner for February, which is way off, but I know it will be here like nothing. It's going to be at 595. I guess I can tease that out there. So if you're not familiar with that lovely establishment here in town, we're going to do a nice little collaborative dinner, and I'm pretty excited about that. But it's a little ways off. No date is officially set, but we're targeting February. It's going to be a big deal.
Is Matt still at 595?
He is,
okay, so 595 is a wonderful restaurant here in Las Vegas, and they also have some great craft beer handles there.
Absolutely.
Our dear friend Matt sees to it that the craft beer selection there is just absolutely wonderful and amazing. And I would like a front seat to that dinner.
Absolutely.
So you keep me posted, and I will be there.
You're the first person to know outside of those four walls. So
you did have an event though that you just did?
I did. Just did an Oktoberfest celebration to kick off Oktoberfest, which is going on for another week or so. But yeah, we're in the middle of Oktoberfest right now. In the States, Oktoberfest more or less goes until October 31st.
Yes.
Because we don't necessarily follow all the good German traditions. So a couple weeks ago, Oktoberfest officially kicked off, and we had a nice little event down at Soul Belly Barbecue, one of my favorite spots in town. Huge lover of my beer. We've got a great relationship with those guys, and I did a lot of press and PR for that, which was a little daunting, but it was fun, and it had in a being a great event on a Monday night, which is always a tough sell. But the chef made some amazing food. Some of the things are still sticking around. I got
Ooh.
to see some bratwurst that it was originally just for the event, and I think they're going on the menu. But there was a whole tray of bratwurst infused with Shiner beer, so
Mm.
super excited to have those sticking around.
So you did an Oktoberfest celebration, but your company doesn't have an Oktoberfest beer per se.
We do. We do make a with Shiner down in Texas. We make a traditional Märzen, very traditional Oktoberfest. Shiner is originally a German brewery, essentially. Which everything we make, and that's what we specialize in. What we do best is German influenced lagers. Sometimes a little Americanized, sometimes a little changed up a little bit, but that's where we come from. So we keep it very traditional, and unfortunately, I got a very limited amount. I believe they're on their last couple of kegs. So there's a really cool Arttoberfest put on by the Huddle Brewery downtown, right next to Soul Belly, and it's they kind of started the idea and bounced around to a lot of us local brewers and suppliers. And as you know, we try to play nice as much as we can, and we do get along with one another. So it's a real cool collaborative effort where you buy a mug, and it costs $15-20, whatever it is. And then you bounce around to all these and basically do a bar crawl, and your refills are only $5. And it's all traditional German beers called Arttoberfest. So hopefully the first,
Arttoberfest. Okay,
pretty
that's
good.
cool
Arts
because it's in
District.
the arts
Yeah.
district. All right, I like that.
Yeah,
That's
it's got a
fun.
bunch of great spots, all, like nice little bar crawl. And they all have unique beers at every spot. So, Able Baker will have their beer. I believe I think Silver Stamp's involved. So all the really fun, usual suspect beer spots down there. Great little bar crawl.
Yeah, I like Able Baker. I like everything that's down there. I mean, I haven't spent too much time in Huddle. I don't really have a good reason why. There isn't
Yeah,
a good reason.
they're new to the scene, relatively new. They opened in the midst of COVID and the pandemic, and so a lot of struggles going against them. So I'm glad to see them raising the bar, and everybody, every brewery that succeeds in this town makes beer better. That's what happens. And as you know, I'm a huge proponent. If I'm not drinking my beer, I'm drinking a local beer as much as possible. I do generally stick to mine, but and I love that I've got the friends down there, and a lot of times they drink my beer, and we can trade. Sometimes it's fun.
Yeah, every time I travel, I always try to find a local brewery just to see what's out there because there's just so many
Totally.
small craft breweries. I found some craft breweries in Indiana
Yeah. Yeah.
when I was
Indiana
there
actually has a
last
great
month.
beer scene. Yeah.
You wouldn't think that they would, but
Yeah.
they do.
Right.
And yeah, so that's fun. The Hoppy Gnome
Oh,
in Fort Wayne,
oh,
Indiana
that sounds
is one
fun.
of my
All right.
favorites.
Yeah. I don't know them.
And you can bring your dog.
Oh, that's always a plus.
That's always a
Yeah.
plus. Yeah.
That's kind of a prerequisite for me liking a brewery is they've got to be dog friendly.
So before Mother Earth,
I was with a local distributor, a small family owned distributor called Bonanza Beverage. I was with them for about 5 years. That's where I cut my teeth in the beverage industry. Learned a lot, and I'm very thankful to those folks. They've since kind of dissolved and split off their brands. So the cool thing is I still get to work with some of them. The guy that actually hired me, he works for them and he's with the team, and he's a great asset. Mr. Kevin Flynn. I kind of, he's one of those people we get on a first name basis, especially in the beer world, but he will always be Mr. Flynn to me. And he's one of those people I have the utmost respect for giving, taking a chance on me and not knowing anything about the beverage industry. I've never been behind a bar formally, never done anything like that. And, jumped in, and took me a little while to, I sold some products that maybe I didn't love drinking, but I learned a lot and learned how to sell and wrote some orders, lots of order writing. But I still got to, dabble. And my whole goal all along was to get into the craft beer side of things and work for a brewery. And I've gotten to work for a couple now. I couldn't be happier. It's still a lot harder than it seems. Everybody thinks all we do is go out and drink, and
oh yeah, right.
which we do plenty of that. But there is a lot more going on.
Yeah. At one point, somebody actually reached out to me by text and said, "Is your job even real?" Like, not knowing all the facets of everything that we do all day long. I mean, yes, it's real. I was in accounts selling my water for Nevada Beverage, side by side with the reps to
Sure.
get the product in, to get more money in their pockets, to do the things. And it's very real.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah, it's tough. And I mean, I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else.
Right.
But yeah, it is one of those funny things that people like, yeah, that's all you go do is go out and drink. And like, no, there's a lot more. It's one of those, I'm on call all the time.
yeah.
And, living in a city that works 24/7, you get some of those calls 24/7. So
you do what you got to do.
right. Yeah. Work on the fly.
So, Mike.
Yes.
What was your gateway beer?
Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. But there was kind of two, and it was, probably younger than I should admit publicly. But yeah, I discovered craft beer very, very early in life. There was a very small brewery in Modesto, California called St. Stan's. They brewed a beer called Red Sky Ale, and that was just my jam.
Are you from Modesto?
Do we have to be public about that? Not my proudest thing, but yes, I am.
Well, no, I'm familiar with Modesto because so Taryn's great grandparents lived in Modesto.
I think
I've spent a lot of time in Modesto.
Yeah. Modesto's not so bad.
And there's a town near there called Tracy.
There is. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in Tracy.
So I have signs.
That sounds terrible.
Now entering Tracy. Now leaving Tracy. Yeah.
Yeah. Most of my life was spent in the Central Valley in California.
Okay.
So born and raised there. Yeah.
Things that I didn't know about Mike Gaddy
right.
Today.
Yeah. Not always the first thing on the resume is like the little weird farming town you came from that is known for some terrible people.
No, I mean it's Gallows from Modesto.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean there's some good. There's good stuff there.
George Lucas.
There's good stuff there.
It's not all bad.
It's not all bad. It's just I guess if you're from there, then you're just like.
Right. Yeah. I'm on 15 years here, so it's kind of one of those people ask, and it's like, yeah, just consider me a local. I wasn't born and raised, but I'm pretty in.
I wasn't born. I was raised.
Right.
I was raised.
Yeah.
4th grade.
Okay.
I think that counts.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a native.
Yeah. I went back for the first time in many, many years, over 10 years. I just went back to see a friend and got to hang out and go to some of my old haunts, and some of them hadn't changed, and a lot of them hadn't changed, which was kind of nice, but also kind of sad. Like it's just one of those like, oh, and again, living in a town now that changes, it seems like every 6 months, like, oh, that bar is gone, or that restaurant's gone, or I love that place and it's gone. It was kind of neat to go back and be like, oh, this is still here. You guys are still serving the same bangers and mash, and they're amazing. And right. Yeah, exactly. So there's some of that. But it was fun. It was a good little trip. Don't need to go back anytime soon, I don't think. I got it out of my system, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It's nice to see that they have their beer scene has evolved up there too. There's some really good breweries.
Oh, good.
I think, did you sell Dust Bowl for a while? I think
at Johnson Brothers.
Yeah, I think they were with Johnson Brothers.
Dust Bowl.
It might have been later. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. They're in Turlock. They're doing some good stuff. They're down here.
I've been to Turlock.
Yeah, Turlock. Was it the City of Excitement? Something like they have something like that as their tagline. I can't remember what it was, but it's yeah.
Is it really exciting?
Yeah, it's not. There's a university there.
Especially exciting.
Yeah. I have not been there in 20 years. Mm-hmm. Even when my last time in the Valley, it was just one of those like, there's no reason to go south. We moved north up through Sacramento and had some stops along the way through the Valley, but yeah, still a California guy.
So your gateway craft beer was Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Yeah. I attribute it to that. There might have been some other things. Sierra Celebration, obviously was the most impactful one. My dad, my dad drank Miller High Life. He was a High Life guy.
Okay. And
then when Miller Genuine Draft came out, I was just kind of dating myself a little bit here, but I remember the ads and just remember the frost cold thing. And he got turned onto that, and that just MGD became his thing.
Yeah,
And
it's good stuff.
I even, just remember just the beer transitions kind of knowing and like, okay, he drank this, now he drinks this, but he always had it. Always the same beer as it was, popular at the time. Now I've got 14 different beers in my fridge right now, at least. Um, pretty much at any given time. But my story and my discovery is I worked at a grocery store, and what we said in the days is like we kind of had a hookup, and maybe I was underage. I'm not gonna say, but I had somebody there that said, "Hey, I can get you whatever you want. What do you want?" And in my kind of lower income upbringing, I'm like, well, the most expensive thing must be the best thing. So I saw
Yeah.
this 6 pack, but that's what my brain did.
Mhm.
So I saw the 6 pack that's $8.99, and at the time, like a 6 pack of beer or whatever it was a couple dollars more than your Keystone Light with the college kids I was going to go hang out with.
Uh-huh.
So I picked out the most expensive thing. I want that. And I was making good money at a grocery store actually, as a young lad. But yeah, had those that access to some beers early on, and I show up to this party with all these college kids, and they're drinking Natty Ice, like shotgunning and just trying to get obliterated. And I'm like, this tastes terrible. So I crack open my Sierra Nevada Pale Ale and or Celebration. Again, the memories are fuzzy. Can't understand why, but it's been a minute, and I do know it was a Sierra Nevada. And people are like, what is it? And I won't say the terrible things they call me. They made fun of me. Like I show up to
For
a
your
party with
bougie
beer
beer.
to share. Yeah. And I show up with this fancy bougie beer. I wish they called it bougie. But it was bad. And I was kind of ridiculed. And I just sat in the corner and watched them throw up on each other, drinking, 4% malt liquor. And then I'm sitting just judging. I'm like, this tastes good. I really like this. Like this is different.
Yeah.
And it made me feel a little elevated, I guess, at the time of like, oh, I picked something better, and I would rather have one of these at even a higher price that has flavor that I enjoy, and instead of watching this scene that's developing in front of me. So I just grew to learn to love, not even to learn, but I discovered craft beer and all the wonderful things that came out of it. A few years later, had my first Arrogant Bastard by Stone Brewing Company. I'm sure you know that one well.
Mhm.
My then girlfriend bought it for me, and she's like, "Oh, look, they brewed a beer named after you." It's like, great, great. That's not what I was going for, and she was kidding. I hope.
Yeah, but so your dad was Miller High Life. Isn't that the champagne of beers?
Absolutely,
It
yeah.
is.
It's It had a little resurgence. I was proud to bring that. I brought that back on draft. We were the official beer of Bunkhouse when the Bunkhouse reopened several years
Nice.
ago, and I
I
fought.
miss Jillian.
I do too. She was such a sweetheart.
Where is she?
I don't know. I haven't heard from her in a while. I think she went off the grid. I hope she's
Mhm.
doing well though.
Yeah, I hope she is.
Yeah, she was one of my absolute favorite people to ever deal with, personally and
Same.
professionally. Just
Yeah,
just a
she's
complete
just
sweetheart
this
and
cute
absolutely
little
cared.
ball of energy and just kind and awesome, and I hope she's doing well.
Yeah, yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did an event at Bunkhouse. It's one of my favorite places that we've ever had in town, and put together this little event. And then she got wind that it happened to be my birthday, and I wasn't trying to make it like a birthday celebration, and it turned into it's still like legitimately the highlight of my life. And she just kind of like ran with it and reached out to all the supply. I think you were there. You came to that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw you that night. I think I did. I can't remember what I saw, but it's still the best night of my life.
There
Um,
may or may not have been alcohol involved that
may have.
evening,
Yeah,
so
there's
if
a good,
it's a
good
little
chance of
fuzzy,
that.
then that's okay.
Yeah, it was a great, great time.
Okay, yeah, and so in your opinion, is there anything in the local beer scene that really stands out for you?
I love that we're continuing to get better. This town has been very, very far behind. I remember when I first moved here, the first beer I ever bought from Las Vegas was a now defunct brewery that ended up making amazing beer. And fortunately, their brewers are now brewing at other breweries throughout town, which is so great. Again, talking about just how people kind of move around and we all stay close. But there was this green apple lager, and it still might be
Ooh.
the worst thing I've ever tasted.
Oh, it was bad.
It was bad.
Oh,
But that was my immediate
right.
oh,
that
cool.
sounds
I'm going to go to
fun.
my local neighborhood liquor store in my little neighborhood and buy this green apple. It might have been an L. I don't know what it was. It was not great, and very sweet, and basically kind of like Four Loco in a weird way.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that wasn't a highlight. But again, they turned around and ended up making great beer, as everybody I think has struggled, and we don't. Most of the beer, most important ingredient is water.
Mhm.
And if you start with bad water, which we don't have the best water,
If we're talking about Las Vegas tap water,
not so
it's
good.
not the greatest.
So yeah, I think that held us back for a long time, but fortunately, science, yay, has elevated, and our community is elevated by challenging one another. And if you see a brewery down the street doing something, you're like, I want to do it better, and not necessarily to oust them, but just like, hey, that's a great example of a pilsner. And I get to sell my favorite pilsner, and it's great when I have brewers, their friends, they're also brewing great pilsner, tell me that they love the pilsner I sell. And we tried to base our recipe on kind of like the Trumer. That's always a real flattering thing, even
That's
though I don't
nice,
brew.
yeah.
It's still part of my heart. But yeah, our scenes really come up. I'm good friends with Tim and the guys at Tenaya Creek, as well as Big Dogs, and Tom Harwood is relatively new head brewer down at Bad Beat Brewing in Henderson. And he's doing some great things. He just brewed my favorite IPA in town. I know I'm not supposed to say that. Sorry, everybody. But, Carlsbad is amazing. So he just brewed that a couple months ago. So I think they might still have some of that down on draft. But a super clean, classic West Coast IPA, an homage to San Diego and all the classic breweries down there that really developed that style. So shout out to Tom and the great things he's doing. I look forward to more of his IPAs.
I am looking forward to wet hop season.
Absolutely, we're in it.
I know.
Yeah.
So where can I go for some good wet hop?
I believe, as far as I know, and I apologize if I'm missing anybody, but Craft House, they have their Stratocaster, and I believe it's tapping this weekend or really, really soon. It should be out anytime now.
So I'm definitely excited. I'm always excited for this time of year because wet hop is.
Same. Yeah.
I learned about wet hop. Guess where?
I'm thinking Mother Earth.
No.
No, because theirs was pretty stellar.
Sierra Nevada.
Oh, okay.
I went to the brewery there and I learned all about wet hop.
Oh, that
like,
smell.
What?
That's heaven.
What is this?
Yeah.
So for you out there that do not know what I'm referring to, wet hop season, you have to harvest the hops, transport them, and have them in the brew in 48 hours. It's like a very small window, but that's how you get the flavor. So
and it comes through. It's undeniable.
It does.
Yeah.
So Sierra Nevada has a stand-up one that's just blew my mind. My first wet hop was Sierra Nevada. So now, because I know this, I always look for it in the fall every year just to see. And I mean, so Downtown Hop Nuts had a really good wet hop a few years ago. I haven't been there in a minute. So Kevin, I'm sorry.
Just there last night.
Mike was there last night.
Victoria is great.
Yes, she is. Yeah. So I will be looking for some wet hop.
Yeah. I hope we get a little more. Like I said, as far as I know, the only local one is down from Craft House. But I'm sure we'll get some other ones from out of market. And it's always fun, especially, just how diverse hops are now. I was up in Reno last week and I tasted one from Beechwood. It was spectacular and not like any other wet hop beer I've ever had. It was a little more balanced, I think, than I expected, because the wet hops can kind of be a punch in the face, which I don't shy away from. But I like this one was really nice and balanced.
You don't shy away from getting punched in the face.
Not at all. Sign me up.
Okay. Well, this was fun, Mike. I'm so glad I got to see you today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
And just a quick note before we wrap up. If you hear this in time, Mike will be pouring Shiner Bock and Trumer Pils at the Downtown Brew Fest this Saturday, October 7th in Las Vegas. It gets started at 5 p.m. and there's info at downtownbrewfestival.com. I'm Tracy Bradley, and that's the Thirst Trap Podcast. Produced and edited by Gonzo Greg Spillane for Noise Department. Our theme music is composed and performed by Jose Torres. Please like and subscribe wherever you enjoy your podcasts and share with your friends and associates in the beverage industry or anybody who drinks things. You can always visit and contact me at thirsttrappodcast.com, and you can find links to all the socials there as well. Till next time, cheers!